Hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, we're going to be making a game of 12 pins. Well, we're back again today with another Alternative Tuesdays and something a little different today in that we're going to be working with this. And you may be saying, Kenny, that's ABS. You've been doing an ABS series for weeks, but these are ABS dowels. So I was able to get some of these from Omicron Plastics, and I didn't really know what I was going to do with them because they're kind of cool. Like, I really like the colors of them, but what do you do with a 2-inch dowel? And a project came to mind, which was a game of 12 pins. Now, I don't know if you know anything about that game or not, but it's an outdoor game, usually played in the summer. If you want to be adventurous, you could play it in the winter, I suppose. But you play it outside in the summer. So for today, I'm going to show you how to make the game, and I'm going to show you how to play it. And this may be quite possibly one of the easiest projects that you will complete this year, but probably one of the most fun ones as well. So guys, let's get right into it with making a game of 12 pins. Well, before we can play a game, of course, we have to make the pieces for it. And for that, what we need to do is we need 12 pieces of 2-inch diameter dowel. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut it at the end at a 45-degree angle. So we need 12 of them all together, but they're only going to end up to be 6 inches long. So what I can do with these is I can 45 each end, and then I'll cut the piece that I need, leaving the middle intact for another project. Well, that's one with each end cleanly cut at 45. So now what I'm going to do is choose 5 other colors and do the exact same thing. I'm going to lop off each end at 45 degrees. Well, now that we have all of our 6 pieces cut at 45 on each end, what we're going to do is we're going to return our miter fence back to its 90-degree setting, and we need to cut each one of these off. Now, from the tip of the point of the 45 to where you want to cut it off at 90 degrees, so from the tip to your cut, will be a 6-inch piece. So each one of these, top to bottom, will end up being 6 inches long. And there's our 12 pins, so to speak, cut and almost ready to go. There's still one more thing to do with them. I love how colorful these are, but we need one more piece, and I wanted it to stand out from the rest. So for that, we're going to cut it out of a piece of 2-inch diameter black ABS dowel. And what we need is just 90 degrees at either end, and we need it to be 8 inches long. Now, truth be told, this is all the pieces that you need. The black piece that we just cut, the 8-inch long piece, is actually finished now. There's nothing more to do with that. But we need to do something else to all the colored pieces. And for that, what we need to do is we need to number them 1 through 12. Now, you can put the numbers on whatever pieces you want to make them aesthetically pleasing or make them look good when they're set up or whatever. Whatever you want to do, that is up to you. But we need to number them on the 45 cut 1 through 12. Now, how you decide to do that is completely up to you. You can use a Sharpie marker and draw it on. You can use a paintbrush and freehand it on. But I'm going to try something just a little bit different. Now, you don't have to go to this extreme, but I'm going to give it a try and see how we do. Now, any of those methods that I said to get the numbers onto these pieces of ABS is suitable. It's perfect. But I have access to something which is a little different. My wife has one of these Cricut cutters, and it does a lot of amazing things, but one of the things it does is it cuts shapes out of vinyl. So in this particular instance, I'm getting my wife, because she's so helpful that way, to cut me out numbers 1 through 12 in the proper size to go on top of my pegs. And I'm using black vinyl just to allow it to stand out. It's just a matter of rubbing the vinyl down once you get it cut so that you can transfer your letters, or your numbers in this case, onto your cut pieces. So transfer all of your numbers onto your ABS dowels, and then we're pretty much complete. Well, I just want to show you how these are set up during play. And the reason I want to show you that is because I made mine out of all different colored ABS dowels. And the reason that I did that is because I wanted it to be more colorful. Now, this gets set up in a certain way with the numbers in a certain configuration when you first start playing the game. And I didn't want my numbers to clash. I didn't want two light colors being so close together and that sort of thing. So I laid them all out first, and then from there I was able to decide what colors went where so that they weren't clashing and I wasn't getting too many colors together. I wanted them spread out as much as possible. And if you would like to do that as well, that is the reason I'm showing you the configuration of the numbers. Well, the big question at hand now that you have your set done is, how do you play? This game could not be simpler, but it is a ton of fun. For starters, set your pins up just the way that I showed you in the previous clip, with all of the numbers facing one direction. Now you and whoever you're playing with will now stand about 9 feet away from those pins that you've set up. The object of the game here is to get to 50 points, and the way that you get those points is by knocking over pins. So the first player will throw their black throwing stick, I guess you would call it. The object here is to knock over one pin. If you get one pin knocked over, then you get the point value on that pin. However, if during that throw you knock over more than one pin, you only get the point value of the total number of pins you knocked over. So if you toss the stick, knock over 3 pins, you get 3 points. If you throw the stick and you knock over 1 pin and it has the number 9 on it, for example, you get 9 points. Well, you may be wondering what constitutes having a pin knocked over. It's simple. It has to be lying on the ground. If it's leaning on another pin, it is not knocked over. If it is lying down, but it is lying on the throwing stick, it does not count. It has to be lying completely on the ground by itself. Well, now that that first person has thrown and the score has been tallied, Any pins that are knocked over are now uprighted wherever they stand. It doesn't matter how far away they are or how close they are. They get put back up with the number value facing the next person throwing. And then the turn moves on to the next player.
Wow.
That is basically the game. Now there are a couple of other little side rules. For starters, the one who gets to 50 points first is the winner. However, there's always a catch. You need to get 50 points exactly. If you go over in your point value and you're at 51, you do not win, but in fact you get penalized 25 points. So you're right back to half the value of what you had pretty much. So you go over 50, you are at now 25 points below whatever you ended up with. You need to be a little accurate on your last throws to hit the pins that only have the corresponding value that you need. The other thing, as far as the rules go, is if you are throwing the throwing stick and you fail to knock down any pins 3 turns in a row, you are disqualified. You are out of the game, and if it's a 2-player game, the other fella is proclaimed the winner, all because you couldn't knock over at least one. And that, my friends, is all there is to it, to playing the game. It doesn't sound like much, but quite honestly, when you're getting near the end and you're tossing the throwing stick and you're trying to get exactly 50 and you blow over by 2 and then end up back to 25 and now you're playing catch up because the other guy is far ahead, it gets crazy. It's a lot of fun, just a ton of fun, guys. And like I said, it doesn't sound like much because the rules are so simple, but you gotta try it in order to love it. Now, I just want to point out that as you play this game and as you continue to play, your pieces will get some war wounds. I've got a ding here in my number 10. I've got a ding in my number 12. Number 3 has a ding in it, and that's all just part of playing with the set. It would happen no matter what you made it out of, whether it be made of wood or whether you make it out of ABS plastics. You're still going to get those dings on the pieces. Not to worry, make it look loved and get those dings taken out by playing with it, because no one necessarily likes a set that's brand new and has never been used. And there you have it. A game of 12 pins. Guys, this is the most basic project I think I have ever done on the show. And I don't care how basic it was still a heck of a lot of fun. If you have access to that vinyl cutting where my wife was able to cut the vinyl stickers, I guess you call them, with outdoor vinyl for me, I mean, man, look at the results. I mean, it looks so professional. I'm just tickled over how it looks as far as the cleanliness of the lines, the 45s, the clean letters. I just love that kind of stuff. And this is no exception. So a big thanks to my wife for cutting those vinyls for me and helping me get them put on. Also, you don't need the vinyls in order to have fun with this project. You don't need the vinyls in order to have fun playing the game. Draw it and color it with a Sharpie. If you want, get your kids involved and let them draw the stuff on with a Sharpie. It's a family game, so why not get the family involved in making this set? I'd also like to point out, if you don't have the vinyl, but you want to try to make this, 2-inch diameter dowel works just as well. And if you want to do the colors, you could paint them if you like. That is completely 100% up to you. I was fortunate enough to be able to get these plastics and from Omicron Plastic, and I'm telling you, I love it. I love just how colorful it is, and I get the feeling this is going to get some use around my house and that sort of thing throughout the summer months. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me again for another show here with something a little bit different, and I hope that I will see you again and that you will join me again on our next Alternative Tuesdays.